Okay, we have a HuK spawning as our blue Protoss at the 3 o'clock location, and we have SeleCT at the 9 o'clock as our red Terran, and I think these positions favor HuK a little bit more. He's going to have a lot more time to deal with any kind of early push. It's going to be much more difficult for SeleCT to catch his units out in mid like he did on close spawn Lost Temple. I don't think HuK's going to be having his units float around the bottom Zelnaga tower or anything like that. They're probably going to be near his natural. And he can also expand much quicker than he did last game.
Yeah, I do agree. I think this this will definitely not be favoring the Terran player as it was the last game. It'll definitely be a little bit more evenly matched with these cross spawns. And, you know, there's the proxy pylon from HuK. I want to talk about that last game. Very intuitive, very sneaky, but it did work out very well. Unfortunately, HuK wasn't able to capitalize. Now, I'd like to see if this game, if he's going to try to throw up a pylon inside the base once again. There's a couple of places you can tuck it away in, perhaps like the steam vents. But like you said, most players are very good about scouting around their base and finding these sneaky probes that somehow manage to find their way into the nether regions of your base, and they're usually able to pick it off. So we'll see what HuK does with this probe. More likely than not, he's going to try to harass these building SCVs for now.
Yeah, HuK is very good about sending an early probe in. I think he sends it right on 9, scouts your base immediately, starts harassing those SCVs. He almost never loses his probe. I can think of maybe 2 or 3 occasions where I've picked off his probe with SCVs from my mineral line. But generally he's very good about keeping his probe alive and doing lots of harass damage to your SCVs. And I can tell you that's one of the most annoying things as a Terran player when you're having to pull multiple SCVs off the line just to deal with a single probe, because that's the last thing you want to do.
And HuK is continuing to be annoying with that probe. Like you said, he has actually whittled down a couple of SCVs now. And SeleCT will be using the refinery to kind of huddle and hide the weakest SCV. A lot of times players will do that. SeleCT now inside the Protoss base. And we do have a Cybernetics core. So standard opening here, presumably 12 gate, 14 gas. And he will be getting the Cybernetics core down. Now, is he going to go for a 3-4 gate attack like he did last game? Or is he going to change up his build, and is SeleCT going to change up his strategy? He is opening with that Barracks Tech Lab and a second Barracks to follow right away. So I think these players are going to stick with their guns and pretty much go with the same builds as last game.
Yeah, again, SeleCT getting that early Reaper out to scout. I really like this build. It delays the Reaper scout a little bit. It's much later than, you know, a 10 Rex or 7 Rex Reaper, so you're not aiming to win the game right off the bat with a Reaper. You're just trying to scout out your opponent's base, get a feel for what he's doing, get a feel for his tech pattern, how many gateways he has. These are all really important things to know as a Terran player. And it looks like HuK dropping a pylon below the ramp and a Nexus, so HuK going for a 1-gate fast expand.
Wow.
I don't think that's necessarily that risky with these positions. I definitely think you can get away with it, but yeah, wow. That's a very quick expansion, very bold move by HuK.
That's extremely bold considering the fact that HuK, well, he saw 1 barracks. He didn't quite see the second racks, but if SeleCT were to throw down a 3rd barracks and just try to push right now, he could probably do a lot of damage considering HuK only has 1 gateway. He is getting Warp Gate down, but SeleCT will not be pushing out. He instead will be getting his own command center, like you said, 1 FE after 2 barracks. So both these players are gearing up to play a longer style game, and with these positions, I think that's going to, I think they're both going to be happy with that, because they'll both be able to mass up an economy, build up forces, and they're so far away that more likely than not, they won't have to deal with any early harass.
Yeah, absolutely. And another thing is, it's really not good to get drawn out into a late game, scrappy macro game with a Protoss player on this map. Terrible. It's so hard to win. Once they get Storm, Colossus, Zealot, Stalker, Sentry Ball with good upgrades, any kind of bio you have on the ground is almost completely nil. The only way you're going to win is if you're dropping all over the place, you're keeping him preoccupied, you're sniping Nexuses left and right. Even if you do snipe a few Nexuses, you can still easily lose the game because you're not dwindling his army down and he's still just building up that Protoss ball of devastation in the late game. And really, I struggle with how to deal with Protoss in the super late game. I don't know what Terran has to deal with that specific unit composition that I just mentioned. It's very difficult to deal with.
We have a pylon warping in. right outside the third expansion of SeleCT. Now, this pylon can definitely warp down units to the ground below, just where that Mink statue lays. And there are 4 warp gates. HuK here has transitioned from 1 FE to 4 gates, and a scan goes down. So it sees, I believe it has seen 3 of the gates, and it sees the chrono boost on all 3 gateways. So now SeleCT knows that an attack is impending. Is he going to throw up bunkers to defend? He saw all 3 chrono boosts on those 3 warp gates. I would assume he's gonna throw up a bunker, but I don't know. Does he have enough to defend against his stim just about to finish? And that stim is going to prove crucial when it comes to defending. Oh man, but SeleCT is moving out.
No. Oh no, SeleCT is moving out and leaving his natural wide open. HuK coming in with that 4 warp gate timing attack, trapping all the SCVs, force fielding the ramp and force fielding the SCVs out. This is terrible for SeleCT. Horrible luck. He hasn't taken too many losses yet, though, that he can't come back. He only lost about 5 or 6 SCVs right there. His units are back in the mix, and it's stimming, going in. Looks like he might be able to clean this up, killing a ton of zealots right here.
I think SeleCT will be able to hold this off, but not without suffering severe civilian casualties. When I say civilian, I mean those SCVs. Those guys were not built for war. All these stalkers gonna get picked off. But has the damage been done? SeleCT now needs to counterattack. He's so far behind in economy, 23 under 38. If I was SeleCT right now, I would move out with haste and try to make something happen. He has 3 racks, he has a factory, is throwing down the starport, so we will be seeing those that dropship play coming out soon. But the pylon is still there, PainUser. He can warp down more units, and a backstab could happen very easily.
Yeah, that pylon is working wonders for HuK right now. And speaking of SCVs not being made for war, I don't know if you guys heard this, but last night during an interview on the GSL, one of the Korean players stated that in the last patch, they did not put it in the patch note, but all of the mining units had their attacking animations changed so that they actually do a lot more damage now. And SCVs having more hit points than the other mining units, they're a lot more effective. I believe it was after a 6 pool in the GSL last night where the 6 pool was held off with SCVs and a Marine relatively easily, and it didn't look like the 6 pools of old that would just, you know, crash through your front door, kill all your SCVs, and kill your Marines. So they did actually change the attack animations on all the mining units, and they do more damage now. Something I didn't know until late last night.
That might explain why I lost to so many worker rushes on ladder this morning. Actually, a lot of workers, they seem to do a lot more damage right now, so that's actually a very good hint right there. But all jokes aside, it looks like HuK is pushing out with a menacing Protoss ball. He's at 88 supply. SeleCT still down in economy at 82.
Moving out again.
Oh god, you are right, he is moving out.
Oh my god.
This natural could take a lot of damage, PainUser. I think this is going to be brutal.
And HuK has the probe in position at the southern Zelnaga tower, so he sees SeleCT's army moving out. He knows he can just go in for the kill here, and he's killing tons of SCVs. Once again, this is just horrible luck for SeleCT. Twice he's moved out and gotten caught with his pants down. No, pardon my French, but this is just terrible for him. He's losing the game without even really playing it, and that's just a situation of almost pure bad luck.
Well, SeleCT here with pretty good micro, though. He is out-microing these units, but 4 more stalkers coming out from that proxy pylon. They focus down the dropship first. Even the statue is not immune to the chaos and warfare. Just bullets spraying around everywhere. Oh man, but zealots have been just hacking these SCVs at the natural pain. I think that we might see a GG from SeleCT here in game number 2.
Yeah, SeleCT is in a terrible position right now. All his units are in deep red. There's really nothing he can do, and oh man, there's nothing more frustrating to watch than this. It's not to SeleCT's fault. He played a great game. I think at any point he could have actually fought and dealt with HuK's pushes, but he just wasn't in the right position. If he had been at his natural with his force, had been able to pull his SCVs and actually attack the push with SCVs and his units in conjunction at the same time, he would have been able to crush those pushes a lot more effectively, and then he could have made a push on HuK's natural or something like that. But HuK just going straight up to 6 warp gates. Man,
yeah,
really brutal. Just a quick FE straight into 6 warp gates, spending almost all his money on units, being super aggressive.
Ooh. Nice dropship play here from SeleCT, bringing the Marauders back to cover with the rest. You know, I wonder if, you know, Select scanned, and he saw 3 Chrono Boosts being used on 3 Warp Gates. I wonder why he didn't think right then and there throw up some bunkers, because it was quite obvious that he was going to be attacked. It was quite obvious there was, that you know, most likely that there's a proxy pylon somewhere outside his natural, but instead he decided to move out.
That's actually a very astute observation by you. I agree 100%. I saw that as well. The scan did see the 4 Warp Gates, 3 of which had Chrono Boost on them. To me, in my mind, that triggers immediately that there's going to be some kind of Warp Gate rush coming very soon, and I need to be ready for it. And Select's response was actually to move out. So I don't know whether it's a question of him just missing the Chrono Boost, or if he actually, you know, thought that...
Yeah, well, I think we should continue casting because it's still going to be up on YouTube, so if anyone misses the stream, no big deal.
Yeah, I'm going to restart the stream too.
Alright, so anyways, we just had a little bit of technical difficulty there, guys, but I guess I'll be continuing this cast. And, you know, HuK now is looking very, very strong. What are his probes doing? I guess they've decided to go distance mine the gold, because HuK now has so much... 63 harvesters over 15. I don't know if you're still here, PainUser, but that tells me that it's pretty much game. I mean, I just don't see how Select can win.
I am still here, and I agree with you 100%. There are Colossus on the way with Thermal Lances. Weapons 1 is being Chrono Boosted. He has 6 Warp Gates, a very large group of Stalkers sitting outside of Select's natural expansion. Select's going to go ahead and try and retake his natural expansion here, but I think it might just be too little too late. There's an observer hovering over his army. HuK has constant vision over his movements at all times, and I really don't know if he's going to be able to do anything here. I mean, there really isn't anything he can do.
Yeah, I think he took way too much of a hit early on in the game. His army just looks pitiful compared to the Protoss, and here comes HuK. He's ready to win this game. It's going to be 1-1 after this game, and HuK looking good. We're going to move on to a game number 3. Oh man, great force fields. All these SCVs going to get slaughtered. Along with the Marines and Marauders, and Select calls GG. So the series now tied 1-1.
Dear. It is indeed tied at 1-1, and after a game like that, I mean, I hope Select realizes that that really wasn't at his fault. I mean, he could have kept his units back a little bit more. That would have been a lot better. But at the end of the day, if you take a loss like that, you need to just reset, regroup, chop it up as a loss, and start the next game fresh with a really competitive attitude, because that's a stinger, man. That's a terrible, rough game to lose right there.
Indeed it is. So we're going to go ahead and move on to game 3.